Absolutely. Chair Lurchbacher,
Here.
Vice Chair Powell is absent. Commissioner Angel,
Here.
Commissioner Hanwett,
Here.
Commissioner Ling,
Here.
Commissioner Stewart.
She was here.
She was.
here.
No.
Did. She vanished. So much for AT&T.
Yes. Okay. Commissioner Stewart is absent for roll. However, I will mark notes if she comes back. We have one vacant position as well.
Thank you. Just in remembrance, last year, Director Carlin, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
All right, can you hear me okay?
Or 5 by 5.
All right, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, presentations, I have 4A, AARP Age-Friendly Community Seniors Grants. Christine Schindler is Christine, you're there. Hi, Christine.
And I'm muted. How very 2020 of me. Even
nice headset. I like those.
So this is my time. I can get started.
It's all you.
All right. Well, wonderful. So thank you for the invitation to come and talk to you a bit. I have to admit, I found it kind of funny to hear Travis say, I actually heard that before I got off the call last time, that I was like an expert grant writer, and I had to laugh because I'm not an expert grant writer at all. I'm actually scoring 0 for 2 when it comes to City of Encinitas grants, but I will prevail. However, even with that, I think I do have some good information to share and some things that I'll either remind you of or learn some things from you, or have ways that we can collaborate, or maybe tell you some new things as well. So I live in East Encinitas. I'm actually in High Country Villas, which is where Jesse lives as well. People like to refer to it, a friend of mine outside of the neighborhood likes to call it Wrinkle Village. I'll definitely accept that. So it's a 55 plus community here in Encinitas. Lovely, lovely people. So what I did throw some slides together, and I probably won't get to everything that I want to talk about, but I figured even if I don't have a chance to touch on all the slides, that you'll have them to refer to. And if anything, you'll just be curious about what the heck I was thinking when I put that information on the slide. So this is just the start of a conversation. So wanted to give you an idea, just kind of what I hope to cover. Just a little bit about grant writing training. Just really an acknowledgement that there's lots of funding sources, right? You all know that there's national funding, state funding, local funding. And what I'm finding is that, particularly with senior projects, I think there's going to be more and more funding. There's baby boomers, there's people living longer, there's expanded mindset. There's the downside of COVID, which is all of us have been socially isolated. We've been maybe not as active in kind of deconditioning, and I guess also socially awkward now. It's so, so weird that masks and wearing masks has become normal, but I do think it kind of blocks yourself off from having interactions that you may have normally had. So there's a lot of COVID related, pandemic related things where there'll be funding in the future in new and different ways, and we don't really even know what that all looks like right now. I will spend probably the most of my time talking about AARP. So I met Travis. I'm not sure when I met Travis, but we partnered on putting together a sustainable, well, now I got to make sure I use the right descriptor, a challenge grant, a community challenge grant opportunity with AARP. And we danced and we put our best foot forward. However, we weren't selected. And this was during 2020. So I'm just proud that we talked about it and put the grant application together and all that, early on in the pandemic. If nothing else, it kept me sane and gave me something to focus on. So we weren't successful this time, but with any grant, you just have to keep trying. You have to kiss the frogs. You have to dance with the people, and be very patient and persistent. And then I'm also involved in a Matter of Balance program, which unfortunately, the pandemic has actually probably, with the increased time of the pandemic, we probably will see an increased number of falls that are happening. And the program that I'm involved with didn't have a virtual format. And in April, I was scheduled to offer up Matter of Balance program to my docent society. I'm a docent at Torrey Pines. We were all set to go, and then the pandemic happened and we had to put it on hold. And I thought I would be able to pivot myself and just do it on the Zoom platform, and I had everybody agree to that. But then when I reached out to the creators of the program, Maine Health, they said, no, slow down, can't do that. This is an evidence-based program. We know that it works in person, but we have no idea if it works virtually. So they put the brakes on us, and then they waited to see what was going to happen with the pandemic. And after a good chunk of time, probably 3 months had passed, they realized that they really did need to make it a virtual program, at least have that option. So they put together a pilot program. I partner with a friend, colleague of mine who works for Scripps Hospital in La Jolla, and they were selected as one of the pilot sites. So Paige and I we were one of many sites that conducted the pilot program to shift from in-person to virtual. And we now have that proven. They showed that it was as effective. And I think it's actually a better program now. In some respects, it's still best to have eyes on people and to be together in person, but there are some advantages to having virtual programs, as I'm sure many of you realize. And telecommuting and working in a virtual world has come along decades because of the pandemic. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Matter of Balance program, and then just kind of touch in about civic engagement for seniors. So there we go. I probably spent the first 5 minutes on one slide, so I'm not going to get through all my slides, am I? If you could advance to the next one. So I definitely want to thank you for your efforts and the time that you put into this commission. It's kind of a thankless job in some respects, and people don't even realize that commissions exist and what you do. But I'm going to ask Christy and Travis to consider a pay raise for all of you because of so this slide is incomplete for several reasons. I ran out of time, but also there's just so many different areas for grant opportunities and for program work and for potential things to partner on. So I just listed some things that are kind of near and dear to my heart. But, and then I talked a little bit this morning with Jesse. I think I acknowledged last time I was on your commission call that Jesse started a food project here in our neighborhood. So it's the, see if I get this right, Jesse, the North County San Diego Neighborhood Food Project, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So wonderful, wonderful thing for her to start in our neighborhood. I think it's already gotten a big response and we haven't even had our first collection. But it's someone seeing something that worked elsewhere when she lived up in Oregon and seeing an opportunity to bring it into the community where she is now. And I know that it's already has a ripple effect because Mona is also looking at starting it or working to start it in Cardiff. I've already mentioned it to a few friends in Solana Beach. You know, it may pick up more of a ripple than Jesse wants at the beginning, but so many people, particularly now, I mean, they have time on their hands. They're feeling like they want to do something, but they're not necessarily sure how. So I think it's a good time for civic engagement, partnering and trying to pursue some grant opportunities. So I think I'll just pause on this slide to see if there's anything maybe that pops up that you want to talk about in particular. You know, I put law enforcement because I'm involved with a city effort called Cyclovia Encinitas, and I have a lot of opportunity to interact with law enforcement as part of that effort and others. And then we're also doing a neighborhood watch here in my neighborhood because we've had some problems with pandemic, vandalism, and break-ins. And that sort of thing. We're always aware in our community that potentially fraud against seniors could be new and different. And I think vulnerable populations are even more vulnerable right now. I'm sure you guys all realize that. So it's important to have good relationship with law enforcement. And I do safe routes to school related work too, and law enforcement's a really important partner for that type of work as well. So there's really more organizations out there and more opportunities than you can capture, you know, for one meeting like this or on one slide. Jessie made a note. She actually shared it by email, so I just pulled it off her email. Hopefully that's okay, Jessie. But I think it's spot on. A lot of times we have projects that we want to do, but we also have to think about how can we fund them, how can we sustain them, how can we get the support we need for them. So she has this kind of, Jessie actually has a lot more experience with grant writing than I do. And, you know, she's, I'm sure you guys have realized she's very kind of methodical. So the way that she has done this neighborhood food project is a good example of like a really sustainable way where you get a key partner. In that instance, it happened to be a family member that she could convince to step up. She had, you know, a very discrete project in mind. She was able to put together a budget and then found a funder. And then did her community outreach, and it's a really easy sell at a very good time, and it's helping a vulnerable community. So, and it's partnering with an existing institution in Encinitas, the Community Resource Center. So I found it very, like on my street, I'm a block coordinator for my street. I found it very difficult to think of anybody in the neighborhood that would say no. I mean, I have a couple of people that came in mind, but essentially, you know, it's a very easy civic engagement good public work kind of thing to do. So, and perfect time for it. So I think it's going to be highly successful. If you want to go to the next slide. Who's advancing these for me, by the way? Is that Christy or Melody?
I'm doing it for you, Christine. Travis.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Travis. This one, it was more, you know, I thank you for asking me to come talk with you, because it also kind of gave me a kick in the rear to do some things that I'd been wanting to do. So years ago, when I decided to leave my career and that for other things, I checked, I became more and more familiar with the San Diego Foundation. I'm sure you're all familiar with the great works that they do here in San Diego. I found out looking at their website today again that like most of the people, most of the existing relationships I made, say 5-10 years ago, all those wonderful people have moved on to other opportunities. But there are a few there that I know. So I reached out to my friend Pauline to see if they were going to offer up a free grant writing workshop. I found out about a really good workshop that they do. It's now back on my radar screen, so I'll certainly share what I find out from Pauline. Because I've talked to people who have done it before. They said it was very good. It would normally be quite a bit of money. However, the San Diego Foundation was offering it for free. There are a lot of organizations out there, and you all probably know, between Travis and Christy and Jesse and others, you probably know the good grant writing programs. You know, but I would imagine, I'm actually working with the Partners in Care Foundation right now, because they, my friend at Scripps put in a grant with them to support the fall prevention program, Matter of Balance. And so they've actually given us some support for that. And they probably offer up some grant writing workshops. You know, National Council on Aging, a lot of great programming, a lot of great opportunities. I actually need to do a bit more work on this. So it's kind of a placeholder for things that I need to do on my free spare time. So if you'll advance to the next slide. I wanted to make sure, though, that I mentioned National Council on Aging. I wanted to make sure I mentioned Partners in Care Foundation, because they're great resources for sure. So AARP, I got very, maybe like you as well, I got very annoyed for a number of years because I would get all these plastic cards. Well, first off, it was like pointing out that you were over 50. And so now you're getting, you know, mail from AARP. And we, you know, none of us want to admit that we're getting older, but you know, we are, everybody is. And so I get annoyed because I didn't like the plastic consumption. Thankfully now when they send out those cards, they're paper, so at least you're, you know, recycling paper. But I think, you know, I knew of AARP, but I figured, it doesn't really apply to me. Well, they're a fantastic organization, and they're doing a lot of great work. And there's a gentleman here in the San Diego area. His name's Bob Prath. If you haven't met him, boy, he's a great person to meet. I reached out to Bob when Travis and I were putting together the AARP grant, and I didn't want to put him in an awkward position because I knew that he probably was going to be one of the decision makers for the grant, which he was. But he's such a great resource. I didn't want to not reach out to him. He's one of the pillars as far as this livable community work that they have going on. And this is very timely because tomorrow is when their next cycle for the Community Challenge Grant opens up, so applications. So I want to try again. And at this point, you know, we could, I know this is just informational. It's not really, I don't know if we can discuss, but I certainly would want to talk with Christine, Travis, and commissioners about a way that we could put a best foot forward and fill out an application again for this particular community challenge. So I love the fact that I'm talking to you today, and tomorrow's when the application opens. So I can get you more information about that, or you can certainly go to the website and see more information. They always put in information about who got the grant last year, previous years. Memory serves, actually, I'm not going to rely on my memory, especially during this last year. I'd have to go to see what the dollar amount for the grant is, but it's a great opportunity. So depending on where the highest need is right now, what's the best opportunity for putting an attractive grant together. Last time, and Travis, you can chime in, but we were doing something associated with the exercise equipment in the area that was being revamped at the senior center. And we were trying to make it different and attractive to those that would decide who the awards were going to, by making it a sister city project where we would work with the sister city to Encinitas in Japan. And we had it around the pandemic and kind of messages from each community with regard to the pandemic, and it was going to be an art installation, and it was going to have this community outreach part to it. You know, it was a fantastic idea, and I don't know why we didn't get it, but I think we can kind of refine that and tweak that and try again perhaps. But we'll talk more about that online. The next slide, if you would. It's a little more information about the AARP network and age-friendly states and communities. So you can see that it's across the U.S. It's gotten a ton of traction here in California because they've given a lot of time and attention and probably have had a substantial amount of money devoted to pushing this idea out there and getting communities involved. And they give the background information about the numbers, and we know that all those baby boomers have big needs, and the baby boomers are going to be around for a long time, and there's lots of opportunity that comes from that. So not only is it a network of communities, but the whole idea of aging in place and having age-friendly communities is getting more and more traction, and we have, sustainable communities planning and policy now as well, and I think the two intersect in a really good way. So I just wanted to point you to this resource too, where you have an interactive map and you can go and see what cities and towns and counties are listed. I'm probably going to go check out Michigan, that's my home state, and see there's only 9 there. So I definitely got to talk to some friends in Michigan and get them excited about AARP, which will be an interesting conversation, and getting involved in the community challenge grants and such. Next slide, if you would, Travis. So this I haven't taken advantage of, but they have a resource center related to AARP that they keep updated, and it's got a ton of good information and lots of resources. And I think as far as the commission, I'm certainly not going to tell you what should be on your work plan or what kind of things you could get involved in, but just making people aware of this particular resource, I think would be valuable for the city of Encinitas. And the next one, if you would. How am I doing time-wise? Looks like it's about 2:30, so I should probably be wrapping up. I am on, hey, Melody?
Yes, I was just saying yes. You're correct.
Yeah, okay. I was on a call this morning. I'm on the Fall Prevention Task Force. Used to be the North County, and then they have one for San Diego proper, but now they've combined it because we're meeting virtually. And, you know, Live Well San Diego is a great source. The county's huge. There's a lot of people working there. Most everybody that I work with is connected to aging and independent services. But there's such good information, so many good resources, workshops. There's a lot as far as how you can get involved as a volunteer. They have a fall prevention task force. They have, I'm not sure I'm going to get the terminology right, but they have different councils and commissions that you can serve on. The Fall Prevention Task Force, it's nice because they share information that's beyond just fall prevention. So they were giving us an update on COVID vaccinations. And I guess this is pretty hot off the press, where they're now, with evidence, they're gonna allow informal and formal caregivers to move up on the list and get their vaccinations. So, so that's a new and important piece of information. You know, they realize that a lot of the 65 and above are having problems getting appointments for vaccinations because they can't, there are some folks that can't necessarily do the online. So they're trying to do a better job of getting it out there that you can call 211. And then a question I asked, because I realized transportation is an issue and people can't just magically, you know, I dream of Genie, their way down to Petco. Closer now is Del Mar Fairgrounds. They're opening up a vaccination super center there. But so I asked the county to look into like all the different transportation options for people to make use of, to be able to get to the vaccination sites if they're not driving. So you can go to the Live Well website and actually see this in a bigger way to find the information. But maybe that's something that we can do here in Encinitas, push out that information as far as NCTD and other resources that we may have for people that aren't able to drive. And I think I'm wrapping up here. I just have a couple more slides. So Travis, if we can just go through them quickly. Oh, this was just to capture, I have a million different pictures of the way that we have all pivoted. Just a few that I wanted to share. Like I said, I'm a docent at Torrey Pines. The hummingbird sitting in its nest has been my photo for last year, where we were all just sitting and waiting, you know, as patiently as we could. That was taken by Wes Farmer, a docent friend of mine, who got COVID and actually had to move out of state to be with his daughter so he could get some care. So in 2020, you know, we're all just trying to deal with COVID. Thankfully now in 2021, we can look forward and people are vaccinated. Hopefully many of you on the commission have at least received your first shot, if not both. People have adapted and pivoted. So the harmonica player there on the left is one of the docent groups. We had a holiday Zoom happy hour. Vast majority of my docent friends are 65 and above. And yeah, a lot of them have means, some of them don't, but everyone was able to figure out how to pivot and do our general meetings by Zoom and wear the masks and still do outreach at the reserve. That's my friend Michelle up in the right-hand corner. And we're, you know, for a long time, we weren't allowed to be in the reserve at all. And the reserve was closed, thankfully, actually. But now that it's opened up, you know, we are supposed to be there doing our volunteering. Many people aren't comfortable with doing that. Torrey Pines is about a 50-50 slice of Americana when it comes to wearing masks and not wearing masks. Thankfully, people are doing things outdoors and they're being creative. So the medalla there in the middle was my friend Gertie, who lives in the neighborhood, that brought, you know, 4 of us together outside to just go in nature and pick some things out and create that and others. And we've pivoted here in our community by doing outside chair yoga, where before we were doing it indoors, and for 6 months, 8 months, we didn't do it at all. And then, you know, there's a risk benefit to take a look at. I know that I've actually seen over by the Catholic school and church, St. Joseph, I've been seeing an outdoor class, and I'm assuming that that's the senior center pivoting, and or the community center pivoting and actually doing outdoor classes. So I was happy to see that. So, you know, we're getting through it. We're doing good things. We're deconditioning, but we're trying not to. So I think the last slide is just a little background about me, just for you guys to have on hand. You can see how I'm getting in trouble these days. So I don't know if that was at all what you were looking for. Hopefully there's one new thing that you learned. And I think the biggest thing is that I'm here and I love doing things with seniors, and I love doing things with kids, and intergenerational is kind of my sweet spot. And you know, I want to see how I can, you know, continue to help in the community and bring some new and different opportunities to bear for improving quality of life. So thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Christine. Any questions?
Well, I don't have a question. This is Jessie, Commissioner Hanwit. I don't have a question, but I want to thank Christine for that presentation. I took some notes so I can put it in our High Country Villas Rec Club newsletter. And I just want you to know that if you are involved in any kind of grant writing, Travis, Christine, that, you know, I have like 20 years worth of writing hundreds of grants. And I've also done workshops at Southern Oregon University for people that will become teachers. And I'm happy to do that too. So I would love in CAPS to help in any projects that you undertake.
Yeah, I think, Travis, if we had Jessie involved in our grant, maybe we would have been successful. Because
Right.
I did at least the initial writing of the grant, and really I was not as prepared as I could have been. And there's a secret to actually writing a successful grant. It's not just try again. There's a secret to how you line yourself up for success. So I'd love that, Jessie.
This is Manager Carlin. I want to just thank Christine for speaking today. I actually think you did a wonderful job on the grant. I think what roadblock we ran into is I think that they were very COVID related on services and things that we could do during COVID for the senior population. So I think that was the one area, you know, we were really looking for a grant to do public art, and that made it a little bit different. And we were up against some of those things. One of the things that I think we should do is Christine and I will connect with you and perhaps Commissioner Hanwit to talk a little bit more about this. But you know, we just put in a new patio over at the community and senior center, and we did do shade structures over the social area. However, looking at this project, we do have a little bit of space for a couple additional pieces of equipment that would benefit senior citizens. And then it might be beneficial to look into possibly adding shade structures to that area too. Because I know that once we open it and once it's a popular thing, the seniors are going to come back to us and say, hey, could we get shade over that area? So it'd be nice to maybe be proactive and maybe put in a grant for that.
Yeah, wonderful.
I have a comment also. This is Commissioner Angel. So I'd like to thank you, Christine. It's evident that you certainly took your time and created a wealth of knowledge. And thank you so much for sharing that with us here. And it's a wonderful resource. And I'd also like to ask that I be involved as part of the original ad hoc committee or any moves going forward that will continue to enhance the outdoor senior center with regards to additional equipment or shade structure?
Yay.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
want to add, Travis, as far as that grant goes, there were people, because of the timing of it, that turned in their grants before COVID even took place, and so they were at a really disadvantage. We tried to pivot, and take our original idea and then kind of pivot a little bit to accommodate for COVID. But you're right. I mean, I have to take another look at those that got that grant, and we kind of know that now as far as thinking about if and what we want to pursue for a second try. So good point, Travis.
Okay. Well, thank you, Christine. I really appreciate it. You have a great day. Okay, let's see. Department updates, Recreation Services Manager, Travis Carlin. Travis, would you like to give us an update?
All right, thank you. I just have a few things just to share with you. One of the things that I haven't shared with this group, because it really does involve a lot of our youth athletic teams, is we've actually deployed a new program in this last year during COVID. It's called a ambassador program. And what it is it's park ambassadors, they're part-time staff, and they are actually deployed to city parks to just make sure that people are in compliance with the county health order. The original program was really meant to make sure that permitted groups were using athletic fields, but we've really gone into a full service COVID monitoring and education program. With that, they're checking out fields, they're making sure that people are wearing masks in areas where they're congregating, all that kind of thing. But they're really, from an education standpoint, I've had a couple people call and ask who these individuals are. So I just wanted to make sure commissioners were aware of that program and what's going on out in the parks. So they're monitoring all of that. As you know, this is about the time of the year that we really do start gearing up for our summer camps and programs for our spring and summer programs and camps. And we're still in the purple tier, so we're very restricted on what we can do. We're hoping that in the next month or so, we can have a better grasp on what we can handle for the spring and summer months and get that information out to the public as far as programs go. We're fairly certain that well into the summer, we'll probably still be doing senior programs virtually, but we're working with the County of San Diego to determine what summer camps that we can run this summer for youth in the community. As you know, the patio project is nearly complete. Christy did a great job on that project. We're just waiting for two items. We have some lights that are going to go in, and then we're waiting for the bench tops. And we've heard that both items are in. One of them is sitting in customs, and then one of them is just missing a back ordered part. But we're very near to having that completed as well. And it looks great. As some of you know, we usually hold an event every year called the Spring Egg Hunt, and we give out about 20,000 eggs to children out at Encinitas Community Park. Last year, COVID hit us right before that event, and so we delayed that event and moved it to June, but then we weren't able to do it then either. So this year, we're doing a whole different approach to the egg hunt. And we're partnering with area businesses and the chambers and the 101s. And what we're actually going to be doing is we are going to be delivering bags of eggs to 80 businesses that sign up through their 101s and their 101s and the Chamber of Commerce. And kids and their families will be able to visit those businesses the weekend or the first weekend in April to get a bag of eggs from the different businesses and patronize those businesses. So we feel like this is going to be a very good partnership. In addition, there's going to be about 19,500 eggs or so. Out of those 19,500, there's going to be 10 golden eggs hidden in bags randomly. And those will each hold a $25 gift certificate to an area business. So we are well on our way to getting that program off the ground. We're right now soliciting businesses, but then we'll have a full listing of businesses by March, and then we'll have that program the first weekend of April. The other thing that we've been talking about for a long time is the Olympus Park. It's nearing the end of that project, and we're looking at having that project complete in March. It was originally supposed to be done in December, and it keeps getting pushed back just a little bit because of some things related to COVID, but we're finally nearing the end of that project and to open Olympus Park. And then additionally, Christine did mention that we had a program going on in the park, and it's a Cardiff Sports Park. We've actually partnered with Silver Age Yoga, and we are offering the Silver Age Yoga out in the park area. We talked with the County of San Diego, and they approved this program. They're doing social distancing, temperature checks, and all that thing. It is pre-registration only because we can only take so many people, but we are increasing the March and April class to 24 participants. And that's what we have going on.
Okay. All right, Travis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So oral communication, let's see, each speaker has 3 minutes, and we have 2 speakers to address the Senior Citizens Commission. There are no time donations during the oral communications. Direction to staff to bring back a future agenda item or provide additional information to answer a question requires consent of 2 commission members. Oral communication items will be referred to staff either by resolution or by administrative action or placement on a future agenda. So who is the first speaker?
Chair Lurchbacher, we had 2 speakers, Phil Koba and Laura Rowe. However, I believe they have both dropped off. I don't see them.
I can see them both.
Oh, there they are. There they are. Sorry, they weren't popping up on my screen. Okay,
There
and
they
I just
are.
want to confirm, Phil Koba will be speaking for an oral communication item, and Laura Rowe, could you please tell me if you will be speaking under oral communication or an agenda item?
Hi, Melody. I was not intending to speak. I just wanted to listen into the meeting today since I was put on the commission last week and I'll be sworn in next week.
Oh,
Very
welcome.
good.
Nice.
Very good.
Oh,
Okay, so we can go ahead with Phil Koba under oral communications, and I will put on the timer for 3 minutes.
thank you, Melody. Bill, welcome.
Perfect. Thank you all. Thank you all for having me. As always, it's always a pleasure to get to report to you all. My name is Phil Koba. I work at the Encinitas Library up the road. I've been tasked with kind of attending the senior commission meetings and kind of providing any updates to you all about our library procedures. One of the big updates that we've had in this last month, 2 weeks ago, we actually reopened to the public. If you all were with us back in the fall of last year, we reopened on a 3-day cycle, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So we went back to that original plan. So Mondays and Fridays are still our doorside whole pickup days. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, however, we do open up the branch and let people browse around, do most of the things that they were used to before the library closed down. We have our high-speed Wi-Fi available. People can check out materials, just read books in the library, bring their kids to kind of hang out, do some homework and that kind of thing. The hours are 10 a.m. to 12:30. We close for an hour sanitation break between 12:30 and 1:30 to wipe down commonly used surfaces, and then reopen 1:30 to 4. And along with that, we switched back to a 3-week checkout on all times of all items. So any types of DVDs, books, audiobooks, all that kind of stuff. No longer are the days of the 6-month or 8-month checkout date. We're going back to that 3-week cycle to kind of hopefully get some of that stuff back to normal and get a sense of normalcy back in the library. And our friend's bookstore actually is now open Monday through Friday, 1 to 4 by appointment only. Still no opportunity for any volunteers or anything, but we are happy to see them back on a Monday through Friday schedule, albeit by appointment only. That's all that I have to report. I know you all don't really ask questions back, but if you all need to get into contact with me, I think Melody has my contact information. I'm always happy to answer any questions for the Senior Services Commission.
Phil, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And Laura, welcome. So number 6, changes to the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are none.
Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
This is Commissioner Angel. I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. This is Commissioner Hanwit.
Thank you, Jesse. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda stands. Approval of the minutes. Approval of the January 19th, 2020 meeting minutes. Are there any changes to the meeting January 19th, 2020 meeting minutes? None? Is there a motion to adopt the meeting minutes?
This is Commissioner Hanwit. I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes from January 19th, 2021.
Thank you, Jesse. Is there a second?
It's Commissioner Ling, I'll second.
Thank you, Lambert. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Point of order, Chair
Oh.
Lurchbacher, I'd like
Yep.
to conduct roll for the motion.
Don't you want to just hear that there was no negatives?
Due to the fact that we are online and it's being held virtually, for the record, I need to just have each person present their vote. I'll try and make it as quick as possible, guys. Chair Lurchbacher,
Aye.
Chair Powell is absent. Commissioner Angel. Commissioner Angel?
I think her
Frozen.
might have froze.
I'll skip and come back. Commissioner Hanwit?
Aye.
Commissioner Ling?
Aye.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes, indeedy.
Commissioner Angel?
Aye.
Very good. And we have one vacancy. Let the record show that the motion passes 5 ayes to approve the January 19, 2021 meeting minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see. Senior work items. Let me open this. And I can go through the work items. So we're going through the work items. And so item 1, visit senior public facilities or attend local senior related summits, conferences for observation of best practices, information gathering. Any inputs on anything for work item number 1?
Yes, this is Commissioner Angel, and I attended an online conference related to best practices with regard to senior citizens. This was one of the referrals from Commissioner Hanwit that she has passed along.
Nice. Any others?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Hanwit. I also attended a webinar that was about financial exploitation of seniors. It was an elder justice lunch and learn series.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Okay, anybody else? All right, thank you. On number 2, attend city-sponsored events and serving as ambassadors by welcoming and meeting, greeting the public, and serving in a volunteer capacity, conducting various duties as needed. Anybody want to let us know what you did? None. We had no ambassadors out there? Oh, I'm crushed. All right.
Excuse me, Chair Lurchbacher, a
Yes,
point
ma'am.
of clarification.
Okay.
I'm wondering if, although it's not official yet, I'm wondering if this North County food program that's in its infancy might be a way of counted under this. I don't know. And Commissioner Hanwit, you can speak to that.
Jesse, where do you think that might go?
Well, I mean, we are all volunteers. It's not a city-sponsored event, but
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a perfect fit.
No, it's not city sponsored. I thought it was talking about getting out and being an ambassador for the city. So.
Oh, it is, but yeah, yep. That's, so I can see that we're being ambassadors for the city.
I just threw that out. I'm not sure. That may be another area that it's more appropriate to fit in.
Okay, let's go down and see if it fits somewhere else. Number 3, identify guest speakers. We're kind of on the last month, and so we'll probably be picking up the speakers for next year, right? Is that right, Christine?
That's correct. Does anyone have a recommendation for someone they would like me to contact? Would you be interested in a speaker from AARP Livable Communities or from Livewell San Diego, perhaps?
That would be great.
Yeah, either one of those. I like that.
Yeah, I think.
Great. I'll go ahead and pursue that then.
Okay. Let's see, 3, 4. Direct marketing of safety-related messages to senior citizens, COVID-19 best practices for reentering the community, cliff erosion, beach safety, scam and fraud prevention. Anything to add here? No. All right. In 5, identify meetings to attend and/or organizations to visit to gather information and bring back to the commission on senior-related issues. Anything here?
Well, this is Commissioner Hanwett. I'll just continue to do what I've been doing, and that is forwarding information that I get about meetings to attend to Christy, and she'll send them on out.
Okay, nice.
And I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Number 6, explore partnerships with Encinitas Rotary Club and other Encinitas service clubs to recognize the Senior Citizens of the Year and a Lifetime Achievement Award. Any updates here, Christine?
I've received one nomination form so far, and the deadline is March 18th. So I encourage all of you to spread the word as much as you can. We did put nomination forms in the senior lunch bags. I think it was February 2nd when we did that.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Hanwett. Is there a nomination form online, like on the website? Is there a link?
Yes, it is on the website, the information and the form.
Okay.
Good.
Let's see, number 7, address issues and options regarding senior transportation. Any updates on senior transportation? Okay, enhance senior programs including computer assistance and Feeling Fit Club. Explore intergenerational programming, baby boomer offering, such as a baby boomer club. Any baby boomer club updates?
Well, we don't have the updating on that, but I think Angel will have the update on the meeting we had last week about the Girl Scouts and seniors. So Mona, you take over.
I'm not sure I wasn't here. What specific, oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. I apologize. Yay. Yes, thank you for cueing me. So there was an ad hoc group that did meet last week, and we did discuss how we might engage as far as an intergenerational opportunity to program between the Girl Scouts who had previously presented at this committee. And one of the things that was suggested is the opportunity for Girl Scouts to share in an artwork project, such as providing rocks that they personally hand paint or design, and put them in sealed little baggies and then provide those to senior citizens in the lunches as a keepsake and an opportunity to have something special that the younger generation provides. And that was something that we talked about. And then Christy went out and provided feedback, or at least asked the the Girl Scout coordinator locally, her thoughts on that. And she said, wow, we're meeting tonight. It sounds like that would be a wonderful opportunity to present this as an option. I'm not sure I heard back on how, oh, I'm sorry, I did, that she was very in favor, and I guess it was well, received. And I'm not sure when we're going to move forward with that. If that's my take, and that's where we're at with that. Please,
Manager Goodsell, thank you, Commissioner Angel, for that update. Since this does fall underneath our work plan, can we get a motion if you approve of this intergenerational program to proceed, and then I can move forward with contacting the Girl Scout leader and let them know that they can move forward with the project if we have approval?
This is Commissioner Stewart, and I would like to put forward a motion that we proceed with this great idea.
This is Commissioner Angel, and I would like to give my approval and second that.
Thank you.
I can go ahead and do rules for this motion. Chair Lurchbacher?
Yes.
Vice Chair Powell's absent. Commissioner Angel?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanwit?
Yes.
Commissioner Ling?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Very good. Motion passes. We have 5 ayes, 0 nays, 1 vacant, and 1 absent.
Okay, thank you, Melody. And number 9, explore practices of other jurisdictions in the county and identify how senior healthcare, safety, referral services, social services, homelessness, and other issues of aging are addressed. Let's see. Anything here that we want to bring up?
This is Manager Good. So I just wanted to let you know that I've had more meetings with the Community Resource Center, and we are looking to proceed with the Integrated Senior Services Program that will begin on February 22nd is going to be the kickoff date.
That's great. Do we want to have John give a talk to us about the CRC? Are all the commissioners familiar with the CRC and the things that they do?
I am. This is Commissioner Angel. I'm familiar with the CRC,
Okay.
But I can't speak for the rest of the commissioners.
Christy, are we also going to have some new commissioners coming on board in the next meeting?
We will have 3 new commissioners, so that would be something for us to include them in on.
Okay. So based, Commissioner, Chair Allen, I think it's a good idea to have John to go over CRC. I think that would be timely.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, because they might not be familiar. And yeah, I'm gonna, Christy, do you want to? I'm gonna see him tomorrow, or you want to see him? You might see him more than I do.
And John's last name, I'm sorry.
He's the executive director over there. I've got it. Let me see. I might not have it written down here.
That's okay. I can look him up. I can definitely get in touch with him and line him up also for next month.
That'd be great. He's really good.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I think that covers all of our actions there. So we are on the number 9, Senior Center Operation Report. Senior Center Manager Goodsell will now present the operation report for January 21.
All right, thank you, Chair Lurchbacher. So I wanted to start off by thanking Commissioner Powell. She actually made the decision to resign from her second term and not complete that second term. But she's made some significant contributions to the commission during the time that she served. And she was definitely instrumental in advocating for the Integrated Senior Services Program. And through her efforts, that program, like I said, is going to start on February 22nd. Chris also was a big, huge advocate for senior transportation. She made connections with senior transportation providers and encouraged the Jewish Family Services to expand their service area to Encinitas through the On the Go program. And then she also led the Older Americans Walk annually for the Encinitas Community and Senior Center to promote health and wellness, and also helped out with the picking out fitness equipment and furniture and design for the patio project. So we're very proud of her accomplishments, and I wish her all the best with her future endeavors. We have a certificate that we've designed for her, and we will be sending that to her within the next couple of days. There were 3 new commissioners that were appointed, and they're going to begin their service next month. And their names are Commissioner Christy Kramer Levander, and she spells her name the same way as I do, so I'll never forget her name. Maureen Luswig and Laura Rao, and they will be joining us at the March meeting. Regarding the senior nutrition program, we served 1,546 meals in January through home delivery and curbside pickup. And to keep the program kind of interesting for the seniors, we included a few items in their lunch bags recently, a Valentine's maze and word search, and then 6 McDonald's free coffee and sandwich coupons that were put randomly in the bags. And then on Thursday, February 11th, we had Crazy Hat Day, and a good portion of the seniors and staff participated. And so we saw jester hats, construction hats, pirate hats, and several others. So the seniors really got into it and had fun with it. And then finally, we had 82 participants registered in the virtual Zoom fitness and art classes online. And that concludes my report. Do you have any questions for me?
Commissioners, anybody? Okay, that takes us to number 10, commission member initiated agenda items. Are there any commission presented agenda items?
There are none.
Number 11, future agenda items added by the commissioners. Let's see, any items added by the commissioners that we'd like to add?
There are none.
Okay, let's see, commission reports. Any commissioner reports, roundtable? Let's see, I'll just take us, Mona, do you have anything?
Other than my involvement or collaboration with Commissioner Hanwit to expand the pledging of North County San Diego Food Project here to Cardiff. That's exciting for me, and it's moving forward. So that's all I have.
Nice. Commissioner Ling?
I just wanted to acknowledge Commissioner Powell, because I actually talked to her as I was applying for the senior commission. So she was very influential in my coming on board. I also wanted to ask, maybe this is more of a procedural thing, but we are coming up on on March. We've got new commissioners. I'm imagining that we will start talking about the next work plan shortly.
Mm-hmm. Next time.
Is that something that we do as part of the committee meeting, or is that something done offline?
That will be something done collectively. So all of the commissioners will be able to provide input. So you can go ahead and start thinking about what you would like to see on the next annual work plan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Commissioner Hamlet?
Well, I imagine you've probably heard all you want to hear about the North County San Diego Food Project, but I just want to add that we have been able to recruit 18 block coordinators here at High Country Villas, and they are starting to hand me their contact sheets so that I know how many folks they've signed up to be food donors for the March 10th pickup, which will be our first pickup. And I still have about 6 people to hear from, but we already have 103 food donors. So I'm very excited about that. And I hadn't even mentioned this to Mona this morning, but it was my son's business that's been sponsoring us and purchased all of the supplies that we needed. And I have a feeling that he didn't think it was going to be quite so successful. So, as it grows, the more bags you need, the more cards you need. And so I've just reached out to the CRC to see whether or not they would act as a fiscal agent so that I could write a little grant and get some more money to fund some of the things that I see happening in the future as this expands. That's my story.
Great.
Thank you. And Commissioner Stewart.
Yes. What's the question?
Just anything that you'd like to add, a round table, just any last little bullets there that you'd like to throw out?
Not really. Just I know that it's going to be great to see how Lambert and his knowledge of the Girl Scouting can really inform the activities when the seniors and the Girl Scouts really can mesh their ideas better.
Nice. Okay, and the only thing I have is, and I wanted to just get a feel for the senior commission, is that I've been approached by several of the seniors in Encinitas, and they noticed that a lot of the other communities have vaccination centers, and we in Encinitas don't. They weren't aware, not too many of them were aware of the Del Mar opening and how big it's going to be. And but I wanted to see, is that something that we would like to bring to a higher level and get the city council and the mayor involved, or is the Del Mar, is that it just went into to start to work. And so I don't know how you all feel about that.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, Chair Lurchbacher. This item's not an action item on the agenda, so we can't take any action on this at this point in time. But you can do a commissioner-initiated agenda item for next month, or present it now and get a second in order for it to be put on the next agenda. And then you can have a discussion and take action on it. Otherwise, as a citizen, you can have that conversation with the city council members and the mayor, because the sites are really dictated by the county. It's under the office of the county to make that determination. I know they have to look at space and different requirements, and so,
all right, so I'll just bring it up. And does any other commissioner want to throw that as an agenda item? And I'm wide open.
This is Commissioner Lang, I'm up for that.
Oh, nice. Okay, there you go, Christy. Thank you. Thank you, Lambert. And so that's all I have. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Chair Lurchbacher, just point of order.
Oh, please.
Just a reminder, we will get with you then, because that is a commissioner initiated item. So we will send you the template. We'll need to have a report on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, so do I have a motion to adjourn the February 16, 2021 Senior Commission Citizens Commission meeting?
I so move.
That's
Chris Stewart.
And do I have a second?
Commissioner Angel, I second that.
Okay, Melanie, do you want to take a roundtable vote?
Yes, sure. Chair Lurchbacher,
Oh, yes.
Vice Chair Powell's absent. Commissioner Angel,
I agree, yes.
Commissioner Hanwit,
Yes.
Commissioner Ling,
Aye.
Commissioner Stewart.
Yes.
Very good. Motion passes for adjournment. 5 ayes, 0 nays, 1 vacant, and 1 absent.
Thank you, Melanie. So the meeting is adjourned at 3:11.
Very
Thank
good.
you.